The Square Ball Podcast.
We're back again with another show. Welcome to The Square Ball. It's in your podcast app. It's on YouTube. You can see our faces there. You can hear us dancing on your eardrums in your podcast app.
Okay. Sore.
Lightly. Just lightly. Just a little pitter-patter.
Don't put anything in your ears, kids. It's bad for you. There's advice.
Have you?
Certainly not humans.
Have you or your kids done the old Lego in the ear thing?
No, actually.
Up the nose?
No. What do you mean on me?
Well, I know what you're like.
I'm a 40-year-old man.
Putting stuff in your orifices.
Get bored.
I'm bored. What are you doing? I'm going to put a stickle brick up my arse. Whatever keeps you happy.
Whatever.
Don't know how to segue from that into a read for Levi Solicitors, but here we are.
Could be professional negligence, depending on who's
if we did it in the
administered
workplace.
it.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. I imagine that's illegal first, probably.
What I will say is, if we do blow promotion from here, a stickle brick in the arse would probably be preferable.
Yeah, we were saying just before when we asked that it would make us.
Yeah.
But what wouldn't make me sad is moving house.
Right.
Oh, it would actually. I like my house, so I'll stay where I am. But if I wanted to move house, I would do it, and I would get my conveyancing done by Levi Solicitors at a discount.
Right. And
what? And
is it because they aim to take the stress out of the process, leaving you to think about removal vans and paint colours?
Exactly that.
And over 2,000 clients rate them 4.8 out of 5 on review solicitors, he even said.
That's what, took the words right out of my mouth.
Just while I was...
Yeah,
meatloaf. You can get an instant quote on their website and a 10% discount off their fees for conveyancing, wills, probate, all the other ones.
Litigation.
Lasting powers of attorney.
Licensing.
Yeah,
licensing.
Chris is in with the licensing slam dunk at the back posts. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Slick as ever.
Yep.
Slick as ever. Still producing the goods this late in the season, I'm pleased to say. And let's hope Leeds do as we travel to Oxford on Good Friday. Good Friday is one of those days that potentially haunts us as Leeds fans because in living memory we have the Wigan game.
We do.
But we're different now, aren't we, everybody?
I thought we were different then.
Yeah, I think we are different. Although we did come into that off the back of a massive home win the week before.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was happening. I've got to be honest.
Well, we went 1-0 up and missed a penalty. So I think you were right to believe that we were going up at that point.
And they went down to 10 men. But let's not revisit past traumas too much.
I looked at that for reasons I can't remember. I just wanted to refresh my memory about what had happened and found the BBC match report that was linked off the Wikipedia page, and it says Leeds United manager Marcelo Bielsa could offer no explanation, etc., etc., etc. I thought, that's pretty much the size of it. Well, we'll come on to Oxford actually in due course because we have a bit of news that broke yesterday. We mentioned it on propaganda. Rasmus Kristensen is off. 10 or 11 million pounds. 10 or 11 million pounds spent. We're recouping a portion of it. Presumably, we will get some sort of little PSR profit out of this. Him off the books, wages gone. It's for the best, is the kindest thing I can say.
Yeah. They're really keen on him. Frankfurt.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, like they've been talking about signing him permanently since quite early in the season, October, November.
Maybe he just had a bad time here. Because he didn't seem like a terrible signing at the time, did he? He seemed like a reasonable price. He'd played at a reasonable level. He sort of seemed like he'd suit the system. But then you actually saw him with a football at his feet and you're like, oh no, this guy's terrible.
Well, do you remember his debut? Was it the Wolves game?
Yeah, he got
out-muscled. Like, right,
by a flimsy winger.
Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
5 minutes in. I wrote him off there and then. I'm not a rational person sometimes, but I think I was right on that one.
Yeah, it was just... He never really looked like a very good footballer, did he?
No.
Like, in terms of basic stuff he could do, like controlling the ball and passing to people and stuff. He was like a right back from the 90s.
Yeah.
Who just has to get it.
That's a very good description.
Boot it down the line, run after it.
And you said maybe it was just Leeds, but explain Roma. Explain what happened there. Because they were referring to him as a fridge about 2 games in, and he got torn apart by a guy called Antonio Candreva, who was 37, I think, at the time. So... Yeah.
Having seen him play, the fact we're getting any money for him is a surprise to me. Because if you just watched him play for us, you would go, oh, they've absolutely done the money on him. Like he's worth £0.
I think what confuses me is that he came in as an international footballer, so you thought he must be of at least a standard to be an international. Even if he's off the bench for Denmark, he's of a decent standard. And then you saw absolutely none of it. It felt like he couldn't tackle. His positioning was off. His distribution was terrible. He kicked it up the line. He wasn't physically strong. It's like, how's this happened?
I think he's partly maybe been...
And then, sorry, just to finish that, it's confusing now that he's gone there and they like him. What's happening?
I wonder if he was maybe exposed by Jesse's system, because obviously there was the constant switch of play that causes a problem. And as a fullback in that system, your role is to full-only chase a player who's putting the ball in the net. So when you saw teams opposition scoring, it would often be with like Rasmus Kristensen lunging from 20 metres away, getting nowhere near it, and you'd kind of go, yeah, well, that's what... If you're going to start that far away from a player, that's going to happen.
How much do you put down to the coaching then? Because you said, perhaps it was Jesse's system. I do wonder, because the whole system was predicated on getting it towards the penalty spot as fast as possible.
I do wonder as well, when there was an interview with him and Max Verber when they were at Red Bull together. Which one was it? Salzburg. And they're asked the question, who's the better footballer? And they both really quickly agree, Max Verber. And I've seen Max Verber play as well. And to be that sure that he's that much better than you is a concern. That would be a red flag as well. So
I think on a technical level, he is noticeably better.
Yeah.
But he's also made of pulled pork.
Right.
Which probably doesn't help.
Yeah. Right.
The fat capybara.
Yeah. He I can't even say he goes with our well wishes. He just goes with a head scratch. He just, to me, I don't know. It's funny because on the members show we've been doing across the last few months, Victor's transfer tombola, where we rank all the signings, and I can't remember if we've done Rasmus yet or not, because it's been spread out over such a period of time where we're ranking them hit, miss, or maybe. In many ways, Rasmus is the absolute symbolic embodiment of Jesse Marsch, who in turn is the embodiment of Victor Orta's follies, I think.
Yeah. He's an expensive Paul Connolly.
I'm gonna turn the screen now, and I have Paul Connolly's Wikipedia page open, because I was thinking exactly the same thing. Someone who on paper you went, oh, that might be quite a sensible signing actually. Like, it's played quite a lot at this level. Yeah, probably do all right. And then you saw him turn up and you went, oh no.
But, I mean,
no, he's just not good enough.
But you look at the stupidity of like Premier League finances to have paid, what was it, north of 10 million quid for him, 11 or something like that, for clearly a shit fullback. And the value you can get elsewhere. Jayden Bogle at half the price.
Sam Byram for free.
Yeah.
Admittedly, probably not equipped to play a full season, but
have any modicum of
I would rather
judgment. Get out Tanaka for 3 million.
I would rather Sam Byram be coming off the bench for us than Rasmus Kristensen at this moment.
Same time, this is the Championship.
Well, there is that.
There's a higher standard, obviously, in the Premier League, but I do agree. There's a bit of a Premier League tax on that, but there's also a bit of a Victor Orta tax, because like we paid 30 million nearly for Rodrigo, 25 plus for Brendan Aronson, even Tyler Adams was quite expensive.
It did fall into Victor's things that he basically had a massive thing for dealing with big clubs and Red Bull stuff, didn't they? They were his weaknesses, you would say. If you can get on the phone to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, it'd be like, kind of a big deal here, or just anything Red Bull.
But also not the good bits of Red Bull necessarily. We're talking Salzburg, which is it's fringe and unproven to an extent, with the notable exception of Erling Haaland, obviously. But then it was always the sort of the flotsam and jetsam around the edges of RB Leipzig, wasn't it? Like, for example, was Cuisance at Bayern Munich as well as a similar symbol of interacting with big clubs. But yeah, it was never go in and sign a good player from them.
Well, no. I mean, realistically, you're not going to go in and sign Real Madrid's good players, are you?
You're not, but if you are serious about what you're doing in the Premier League, there is a case to be made for being able to get players out of those clubs, I would say, given the attraction of the Premier League. Maybe not where we were, but if you want to get anywhere, you've got to be serious about that, I think.
Yeah. I feel like we're nearly through with that whole phase, aren't we? Everyone's gone, really, from that summer, other than Brendan. Is he the only one? Yeah,
Verber's not that summer.
It was January, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all nearly gone. And actually, we're probably just dealing with the tail end of all the contracts that were given out in that era as well.
Yeah. And we're at the point now as well where we actually can get rid of them, because if we'd have got rid of Rasmus for £5 million 2 years ago, we have to report that as a loss, don't we, from a PSR point of view, it just shows the ridiculousness of that system, to be honest. But yeah, we will technically within this set of accounts probably show a bit of a profit on him, because we've already paid off 3/4 of his fee according to that calculation.
Financial regulations are set up to be exploited. Like they're not set up for you to go, oh, well, those are the rules, I will stick by them in good faith.
Although one of the few things that you can't cheat is the way that the fees are wiped out from a PSR point of view. That is because that's what Derby tried to do.
Well, it's what if Chelsea have done it.
No, that's true.
With the that is a loophole that's been shut now, I think, hasn't it? They've limited it, but yeah, that was their plan. You sign someone on an 8-year contract, and then you sell a youth prospect, and you get all that money up front, whereas you can spread the rest of it.
Yeah,
it's bollocks. The whole thing is bollocks.
But anyway, yeah, if we've shown a PSR profit, great. Yeah, fine. We
never have to think about him again, do we?
Yeah, it's one less. Well,
I'll always think of him in that dreadful stripy grey away shirt.
Yeah,
just stinking the place out.
Yeah, and you might see him pop up maybe occasionally from Denmark, and you'll go, oh, he once played for us, and that'll be the end of it. I dare say. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How he came in with the skinhead, and you thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be. I sort of viewed him. I don't know about you, like in the same sort of mold as Pontus Jansson, who would really buy into it and really get into it.
Celebrating moments.
He did celebrate moments, but not good ones.
There weren't many of them, though, were there?
Want to throw in, high-fiving himself. Yeah,
didn't have the ability to back it up, did he?
And we are speaking today, Thursday the 17th of April, it's the 5th anniversary of Norman Hunter's passing as well, and it's hard not to draw the absolute extreme contrasts between them as footballers. Obviously, vastly different eras, but Norman Hunter was all in on Leeds United. Rasmus Kristensen was just, like you say, it's someone you'll go, oh yeah, he once played for us.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the internationals board. Of course he is. I'd forgotten about that.
Him and Trezor Kandol.
Yeah.
The stars. Yeah, it was funny the Norman Hunter thing came up, actually, because that whole COVID period is so muddled, isn't it? Because I was looking back at the Swansea game, which is obviously actually quite a bit later, but it was the same stage of the season as we're at now, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of game week 43-ish.
But even though that was obviously far later, but that was around the time Jack Charlton had died, because there was a minute's silence around that. And I think perhaps that's because we both said, didn't we, at the Preston game, when Play All the Way played at the end, we both got a bit emotional. I don't know if it's sort of almost unconsciously it throws you back to that time,
and it's naming those players,
and it's those names going round, and you're like, we're sort of on the verge of promotion, and these names are going round again, and it's sort of, I don't know, it triggered some weird reaction. I think
Swansea was game week, it was game week 43.
Yeah.
But it was the 12th of July, which is normally pre-season.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. So it was the day before that he passed away, Charlton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. From doing all the Paris 75 stuff, watching the games and seeing Norman Hunter, Trevor Cherry, both Trevor Cherry's anniversaries, the tail end of next week, or the 29th, I think. So, like, just not being able to sort of celebrate them anymore while they're alive makes the guys who are still alive now all the more reason to enjoy them and fet them while they're with us. Yeah,
no, very much so. It's quite poignant. There's a lot of poignancy attached to that time, obviously, because while it was a summer of great celebration for us in the end, it was strange, and it was underpinned by obviously the wider deaths in society, but from a Leeds United perspective, the ex-players, it was there was a lot attached to it, and I suppose that's why it's magnified the emotions around the idea of going up this time, because it feels like we're owed one.
Yeah,
to a certain extent. I was chatting to someone last night on WhatsApp about the Swansea game, and also the Huddersfield winner against West Brom that sent us up. I realised, like, as I was sat there on the sofa in the corner of my living room, I was sat in exactly the same spot that I watched both of those moments from, and I was on my own. I saw both moments happen just on my own. I think my wife might have been sat outside in the garden, or sat maybe 2 meters away in one of the neighbours' gardens, or whatever it might have been, and kids were out as well because it was sunny, and I was just there on my own. So that's how I experienced some of the greatest moments in living memory, just on my own with the dog.
Yeah. It was about the only sort of modicum of joy for months on end. Like, I absolutely lived for it.
Yeah.
My entire life was just framed around football for it was 6 or 7 weeks in the end, wasn't it? But like just every waking moment, every thought was basically Leeds United getting promoted.
It's hard to look back on, isn't it? Because you almost think we missed out on it, but at the same time, it was an otherwise awful time, and it gave a bit of something, didn't it? Like imagining going through that same period at the end of like the Paul Heckingbottom season and having to go in and that's like your main bit of entertainment for the week is just watching us like lose meekly and finish 15th or whatever. It's hard to know which would have been better, really, whether or not you wanted the promotion to kind of get us through that period, or whether or not you want to be back in the ground for it. But let's just do it again this year, and we can go twice as hard.
Talking about
promotion this year.
Talking about how football's taking over your life, it's getting that way a little bit for me again now. I keep waking up early. Sort of, we sort of described it in the office, didn't we? It's like you're waiting for Christmas, but you don't know whether you're going to get the best presents ever, or as you said, Chris, someone's going to rob your house. It just, it's a form of anticipation, mostly excitement, but it's not 100% excitement because you're not guaranteed Santa Claus coming down your chimney.
Yeah, it's sort of an operation you're looking forward to, because there's a slim chance it goes wrong, but it's probably fine. It needs doing. I'm looking forward to getting this out of the way. Yeah, it does feel like that. I'm already making plans for during the day tomorrow. Thinking I'm just going to go out for a walk somewhere when the other games are going on, because I don't want to be checking them. I certainly don't want to be watching them.
Right.
I just want to find out the results at the end.
Yeah. And
then watch our game, and that's fine for me.
Yeah. Mentally, I just feel like
it'll tire me out trying to be invested in the other games.
It's funny, I hadn't really thought about the other games that are taking place. So is it Watford against Burnley, which I think is an interesting one. There's potentially something there for Watford.
They're shit now, Watford. They've nothing to play for anymore. But
they've got a decent home record. But I mean, Burnley are clearly, like, obviously one of the best sides in the division. So if they play to form, then yeah, of course they should win. But still, you never know. With the strength of Watford's home record and Burnley being overdue a defeat, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I hadn't genuinely really thought about any of the others. And even though Sheffield United are coming off the back of 3 defeats, I expect them to beat Cardiff, because Cardiff are just so bad, so bad. So all I've been thinking about is, let's get to Friday night, let's win our game. And I think I will feel better if we draw, I'll probably be fine. If we win, great, because you are proper 1 foot in the Premier League territory there, aren't you?
Yeah, a draw is probably fine in the grand scheme of things in this game, but you just don't want to. You just don't want to do that.
Let's make life easy, Chris.
Yeah. Like Michael, I'm actually going to go to the rugby tomorrow at Headingley and just distract myself for an hour and a half before the match. I'm
threatening to distract myself, but I know it won't work. I'm just going to end up fully invested in it. I know I am. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But we're doing it.
What if Sheffield United lost?
I know.
It's funny because I've obviously listened to loads of Sheffield United fans this week for propaganda. They don't think they're going to win. I had a look at a Cardiff forum earlier. They don't think they're going to win. There's a poll on there. They think 87% of them think they're going to lose. 11% draw. 11% Cardiff win. 3% think it'll be a draw. Cardiff's form's not as bad as I thought. They've actually if you're going to look at it in a positive way, from our point of view, not from their point of view, because they've needed wins, but they've actually only lost 1 of the last 5 games.
Right.
They've just drawn 4 of them.
Yeah. There is a chance. It's this time of year where things just get very, very silly.
Yeah.
They were silly last week. They were silly the week before, and they might be silly again this weekend. You just hope you don't get caught up in the crossfire.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you just, I suppose,
rise above it.
After the amount of emotion that was expended last weekend, I almost just want this to be a routine week.
Yep.
I suppose, even if, or routine day, because it can't be a routine week because you've got Easter Monday coming up as well. But even if it just means the other 2 winning and we win, fine. Another one chalked off. Let the chaos descend on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd be fine with that. Just getting rid of the games, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah.
You just want to see them chalked off with nothing changing. And you move a week closer. A win, and we're very close, aren't we? That's the thing. A win against Oxford puts us... with each result, it becomes increasingly difficult to not go up, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Our record against Gary Rowett is quite good as well.
Right, okay.
I was looking at our recent record anyway. He had a few good results whenever he was Derby manager. Obviously, to be honest, these statistics are basically meaningless, but we did Millwall twice last year. Whereas, oh no, he was only manager once. It was the other game I was thinking of. Whereas like Oxford, I know, and the Oxford game at Elland Road, they were terrible, but it's obviously a different manager.
They were between managers, weren't they? Because Gary Rout was in the stands for it because he'd just been appointed, but he wasn't taking the game.
I do think we're potentially building them up slightly more than we should. It's going to be a tough physical battle, which is the only real worry that I have, given the Luton game and
long throws,
PPR.
Physical approach, dry pitch.
But Leeds are the better team. They just have to go out and show it.
It's absolutely the case.
If you've got designs of being a Premier League team at this stage of the season, you just got to go out there and do it.
Yeah, I'd look, their last 5, because I saw Farke talking about set pieces. I look at their last 5 games. Their XG from set piece are 3.19. Their XG from open play 1.56.
Right.
So they create virtually nothing from open play, according to that.
Have you seen who their new-ish impact sub is?
Go on.
Stanley Mills. Son of.
Any relation?
Oh.
The guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. All right.
Yeah.
Really likeable
Son of Heather Mills. Didn't see that coming.
Really likeable, relatable chap.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah.
A Leeds legend. Some have said him mainly. Right, okay.
Yeah, he's on loan from Everton. He scored against QPR a couple of games ago.
Right, okay.
So, one to keep an eye on.
Sorry, is that stat right? Have you just mentioned this? When they beat Sheffield United, they completed 98 passes.
Yeah, I had a look at it.
98?
Yep, they won that game. 98 passes all game.
The momentum graph for that is crazy. I know it's a momentum graph, but it's mad. It's basically all Sheffield United. We've
got to football them to death. Surely we've just got to get out there and impose our game on them and not get dragged down to their level.
Yeah, the thing is, Farke talked about this yesterday. He probably called it right. It's the less the ball is in play, the better for them.
Yeah,
long throws. It's going to be a game that if we don't win it, I know I'm going to have a meltdown watching it because it's going to be them taking a minute over every throw in.
You're going to hate it.
I'm going to hate it,
and I'm going to hate being around you.
No, it's fair enough. I don't like it myself, to be honest.
In terms of injuries, we know Rothwell is out until Bristol. Dan James is looking better for Monday. Late decision for the Good Friday game at Oxford. Maybe a place on the bench there. You can use him as a late impact sub. He's saying one of the few things he sort of picked out in his press conference, because he's very even, isn't he? He's very much by the book, he's Farke, saying that the late finish versus Oxford is a little bit disruptive when it comes to dealing with the game so soon on Monday because of the getting back in the early hours of the morning and not getting a proper night's sleep, and it then impacts your Saturday and your prep for the Monday game. He said, but it is what it is. We're so used to it now.
Yeah, you would think surely between these games there's basically no real training as such. It's going to be more like a bit of a rehab and a tactical debrief and stuff ready for the next game.
Yeah, you wonder how much training's actually getting done at this time of the year anyway.
Yeah, I often think they're probably barely doing much. It'll just be some shape work and tactics about each individual opponent.
What about when Bielsa was there?
Run, fuckers, run.
Yeah, you got 2 free days here, so just get on that track.
I'm really tired. I want to stop.
You need to lose 3 kilos before we play on Monday. Just dehydrated like one of those boxers, looking all emaciated before a fight. Yeah, but it feels a little bit more relaxed probably with Farke.
Do you think the team just basically picks itself now, given injuries and so on?
I can't see a change.
Yeah, I can't see a change in any of the upcoming games. I think even if Rothwell comes back, he'll probably not start.
Because he was asked about rotation in this press conference, and he sort of skirted round it. Did Farke saying, yeah, obviously, we look to use the squad, blah, 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 blah. But he's not one for changing, as we've seen.
Yeah,
unless,
If Dan James had still been fit and playing, I guess there'd be an argument for resting one of him or Solomon. And if Solomon had been a bit out of sorts, which he has been occasionally, but then he was brilliant in the last game, so you think, well, he's probably going to stay in. And or would I change it? Donto probably stays because he doesn't seem to particularly like Ramazani, even though Donto wasn't great the other day. He was fine, but probably didn't do as much as Dan James would have done. So, yeah, I just think there'll be no changes.
I mean, talking about this, they're all Premier League footballers.
Yeah.
James, Nonto, Solomon, they're all Premier League footballers playing against a promoted side this time. So any of them going out there should be able to do a job. And I say that fully knowing that, for example, the wingers, including Nonto, were not great against QPR last year, and they were not They were not a promoted side. But yeah, I don't really have much to add in terms of analysis other than just get out there and do it.
Yeah, I was reading Will Almond's blog from December before the Oxford home game, talking about the flying fan, and then watched the highlights after it, and maybe don't repeat that game. Don't go 2-0 down at halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I can remember where I was that day as a kid, finding out on the radio, that we were 2-0 down. I'm fairly sure I just went out to play out with my mates because they're making you sad again, and finding out that we'd started scoring, but took a radio with me and listened to they started scoring.
Also, how quaint and old-fashioned.
I know.
Also, if you're in the way end, please don't try and replicate it.
No.
I can't do these days, can you?
Is it true that you heard the score from a newspaper seller in the street shouting it while saying, read all about it?
He had a little urchin with him, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Very good.
Yeah, Oxford's home record is about midway through the division. They've got 35 points, 110 drawn, 5 lost, 6.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on purely home points versus away points, which were it looks pretty even, but, that doesn't account for league position and stuff, does it?
No, they've scored 29 goals at home, which I suppose it's reflective of their general approach. That I suppose the narrowish wins at home is what they're getting. They've scored 29, conceded 28, so you can get at them at home. You can get at them.
Yeah, I mean they're looking pretty safe now. They might not need any more points to stay up. Yeah. So why not have this game off? Focus on whoever you're playing on Monday. I don't know who it is.
They have Cardiff on Monday.
Yes, they do actually. Yeah, that's the one to focus on.
Yeah,
make sure you're fresh.
Keep
for
yourself
that,
fresh.
Yeah.
Keep yourself fresh for Cardiff. Win that, and then you're definitely up.
Yeah. I mean, they absolutely won't because it's Leeds, but they did lose 3-1 to QPR at home less than 10 days ago.
But would there have been the same kind of feverish biggest game of the season feeling about that? We know that we're the cup final for so many teams, and that's not us being exceptionalist. It's just true.
Yeah.
But looking at their fixtures, they've got us, and then they've got a trip to Cardiff on Monday, and then it's Sunderland at home, and then they go to Swansea. So out of all the games, if they feel like they need another 3 points to stay up, they're probably going to be identifying Cardiff as the source of that. It's a 6-pointer, isn't it?
Yeah. Seems like Neil Warnock's not going in there as well.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which is a shame. It's a little battle of the bosses there because Reeser's called their fans clueless.
Yeah.
Wilder's called them a disgrace. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Very poisonous one way or another.
90 minutes of booing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, imagine if they lost again, Sheffield United.
I think if they lost again, they would be into, shall we make a change for the playoffs, which would be hysterical.
Yeah. I mean, even a draw is catastrophic for them, basically.
Yeah, they need to. This is their most winnable game that is left. So there's a lot of pressure on them.
Don't win. That's all I'm saying.
Let's just get it to half time at 0-0 or something, and it'll start getting really angry in there because we've been there. We know how it feels in those games.
To our likes and dislikes from this week, then, gentlemen. Things that we've liked, things we've disliked. We will factor all that in when we pick our hero and villain of the week. First is the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award. What have we disliked across the more recent days?
I've had a really lovely week.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
I mean, Harrogate White missed the second half with a probe up my arse having a colonoscopy.
Yeah. That would have taken
some of
the shine off it. But I hope you're all healthy up there.
Yep.
Best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a recreational colonoscopy. Who knows? But I imagine it was to look for something. So I hope it's all fine.
What did you do at the weekend? I just took the family for a colonoscopy. Yeah. They waited outside.
Watched on the big screens. Much like your dad does. At Leeds games, to be clear, not colonoscopy.
At the old colonoscopy. Yeah. I'm just looking down the stuff that's been sent in by our TSB Plus members. It's not a right lot. Jelly doesn't like the fact that we're happy and confident to shut the fuck up about going up. There is no club on the planet with the ability to completely fuck this against all the odds. I can't cope for 4 more games. That's in shouty capital letters. No, it's not much fun, is it? The uncertainty. But I don't know. Like I say, it's all teetering towards positivity now on the basis of the most recent results. So just ride it. This doesn't come around very often.
Yeah, I didn't much like Preston scoring. That was a very strong dislike at the time because we'd taken the lead. We were looking really good. They'd had nothing. Then just went up the other end and pinged it in the top corner. It was a bit like, oh, well, that's not very fair. That's not really in the spirit of the day, is it? Was there anybody
in their team, their setup that, I mean, I think obviously Ridsdale, Heckingbottom there, that
Ben Pearson don't play for him anymore, but still.
Right. That stood out as somebody who was even a pantomime villain in the eyes of the crowd. There's not really, is there?
Not really. It was
No.
They were fairly low key as a team. Other than I say the low key, they were quite big, but that was really about it.
Well, Osmajic.
Oh, of course. Although he had a pretty quiet game actually.
Yeah, I wonder if he's been tamed a little bit.
Then maybe chemically castrated him or something to just calm him down.
Oh, here we go then. What about this? We'll direct some ire towards Hecky then, because Chris Milner has said dislikes Preston creating a reverse Russian doll by gradually taking off each of their very normal height players and bringing on increasingly bigger goons until the last 9'6" Ent lumbered on for the long throws and free kicks that thankfully never materialised. I like that.
Yep, fair enough. Dan James's platform shoe says every time I see Darlow, a little pain comes over me, knowing if we drop that Monsieur Shitty Pants after Sunderland, we probably have that whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but organisation not named here is the LUFC ticketing department.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, after that little debacle with your... I've seen a couple of other things as well, but I don't know if you can mention them.
Well, yeah, mention it. There's one bloke in particular who appears to have been banned for passing his season ticket on to somebody else for the Preston game, or so the ticket office think, except he was there.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I've not seen that one.
They said, yeah, your ticket was given to somebody else who was arrested, so you're now barred for 3 games. And he's like, I was there with my lad.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And nobody from the club appears to want to speak to him. Can't get hold of anybody.
Do you think they're trying to get through that season ticket waiting list a bit?
Yeah.
They're just trying to get people out one way or another. Not an episode of Alan Partridge where he goes and sacks everyone for really spurious reasons because he knows the company's run out of money. It's a bit like that.
Feels to me.
You were smoking. You're banned.
Feels to me a bit like the old ticket thing. There should be a little bit of contrition from Leeds United because the ticket thing on the turnstiles clearly isn't working to 100% capacity, is it? It's not working 100% right. Maybe we go, do you know what? Yeah, there's been a few technical errors here. Maybe we should be more sympathetic to people.
Yeah. And on the 20-year season ticket credits, someone got in touch who has renewed before the 11th and they were able to use their credit.
Because the 11th of April, they were wiped out.
Yeah. So they manually wiped the credits on the 11th of April, but if you renewed before then, you got to use your credits.
So you lost out on your £22 odd.
Yeah, which is, for me, not all that much. For some people,
as a man of means.
For some people, hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
So interesting that they've really been inconsistent with that as well. So hopefully they sort some of these things out.
An additional gripe, not to pile onto them right now. They're still advertising memberships at the Preston game, and everybody that I know who is a member who's been going all season that has applied for tickets in the ballot for Bristol City has not got one. That's the first time all season that they failed to get one in the ballot. Which is perhaps interesting.
Yeah, it feels a bit grabby, doesn't it? A bit money grabby, that.
Remember when Bakes let people buy memberships to get a Wembley ticket, basically. Just it was like a 50 quid tax on a Wembley ticket, basically. It was like, yeah, you can still buy membership, then you get guarantees of a ticket. And everyone was like, that doesn't seem entirely fair. And then, but obviously it sold a load of stuff, and I'm sure Ken used the money for good things. So
yeah. Stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Stand-up guy.
Can he?
Yeah, it's one way of putting it. Evil.
Yeah, so apart from ticket office mischief, should we depersonify this, because I don't want to start a witch hunt against people. The ticketing system.
Oh yeah. It's hardly the person working in the ticketing office's problem.
No, and
they're literally just doing their job.
And there's probably like 8,000 emails a day coming in from various things, and they'll be like, I don't know. Yeah. And someone else go, well, just say what it says in the system. I go, yeah, but they're saying the system's wrong.
Skynet is the machines.
Tell them it's not wrong.
It's the machines, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
But they've got pictures of them at the game.
When I used to have a little rip out season ticket book, rip your ticket out, hand it to a human, you'd attended.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that's how it used to work, in the old days. Turn up, which voucher number is it?
Yeah.
You have to get the right one, didn't you? Nice.
Now you're fucking waving your phone at Wally, trying to get in. It's no good.
There's a steward there whose job is to say, you need to go to the ticket office. Could just replace with a sign, really. Because that's all they ever seem to say to people when I've seen them. They go, yeah, you're going to have to go to the ticket office. So, right, okay, good.
Technology. Sort it out.
Okay.
Fine.
automated checkouts too.
Right.
Throwing those guys in with this. Dodgy bastards they are.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Put it through with onions. That's what I say.
What, your gold bar?
Yes, there's lots of gold bar shops in Pontefract.
Hang on a second. Were Costco selling gold bars?
They were for a time. I don't know if they still are. Yeah, you could like 14 grand or something. You could buy a little bit of gold bar.
Right.
I didn't bother.
Why?
Put it through as onions.
Investment? Smuggling money out of a country? I don't know.
We're back to where we started out with things up your
Yeah, true, yeah.
talking smuggling. Should we do things that we liked and pick ourselves a Gitana Baradi Hero of the Week? Sponsored by the tuktukclub.com. Hi to Bruce and the team. Bruce is a Leeds fan who runs the tuktukclub.com. You can go a little bit off-piste, well, let's say off-piste, on tuk-tuk into the jungle in northern Thailand. Elephants, food, forests, winding mountain roads, that sort of thing. Self-drive or be driven by a chauffeur.
A chauffeur?
Yeah.
Very nice. Did we get any further on the naming of the tuk-tuks?
Yeah, MB, Marcelo Bielsa was one of them. No update yet on the rest of them, but I know Bruce is there. I think they're having a weekend off with all the staff, taking them to a lovely nearby island, all the staff and their families for the Easter weekend. And actually, Bruce is going to force all the staff to watch our game on Easter Monday, which is on at 2 a.m, I think, where they are.
Wow. Any of you not invested enough?
It's the kind of good boss that he is.
You're sacked.
The tuktukclub.com TSB15 for a 15% discount on your booking. Right. What did you like across the last 7 days? All of it?
For the most part. I mean, the best bit was probably Chris Wilder.
Yeah, I'm going to get my nominee in earlier, and it's Mohamed Tijani for scoring the winning goal for Plymouth. And a good goal it was too.
It was. Very nice finish. Yeah. And he was it's him and JB that seemed to be drawing the anger from Wilder, wasn't it? I think
Bundu.
I was at Bundu. I thought it was the guy who'd scored.
No,
it wasn't. I thought Wilder was doubly annoyed at him because he'd scored and celebrated.
It wasn't, which is even better.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Chris Wilder for his meltdown, I think I want to nominate.
Yeah, that's the clear favourite. Baz the Earl of Sandals says that his teeth grinding was picked up by a geological survey. Yeah, it was the clip of him calling a Plymouth fan fat and telling him they were going down. You just saw that when you've reached that point, you think, "Oh, Chris,
you've lost
somewhat. Come on, your wife needs to intervene here and drag you out of this scene." He's not worth it. He's not worth it, Chris.
Yeah, Monday morning was very fun reading through all the TSB Plus ratings and the feedback for putting it into the daily email. There was a short list created before I got down to the final 4 or 5.
Harrogate White, who had the colonoscopy, liked the dominant first half, even if I had to watch on TV. Presumably talking about the game there and not the colonoscopy.
You'd think so. That was the second half.
Right.
The colonoscopy.
Just flick the channel over.
Yeah.
Isaac's just found it exciting, almost too exciting. Jelly's saying it's so close. It's so fucking close. It is. It's all close. It's very, very close.
Jadar Manabogle gets a nomination for hero.
That guy.
That was good. Darlow gets a few mentions as well, just for, catching crosses, really.
Punching ones that he shouldn't have punched.
It's really as far as it goes. Farker praised him, actually, didn't he, a bit? Although he said, he also sort of lied, because he said, "Oh, I've always had faith in him." You're like, well, then why has it taken this long? Because there was an obvious thing you could have done if you had faith in him. Anyway, there's no point going over it again, is there?
Let's rake it over the coals.
Someone should have really called him out on it again. A question then, earlier in the season, but he's not gonna say anything, is he?
Rubers enjoyed, as I did, the crowd reacting to news of the goals going in, reminded me of 1990 Leicester game. Yeah, that's a good shout. That so that would be when we beat Leicester. Have you ever seen a better goal? When McAllister with the assist for Strachan, actually, for the winning goal late on in that game, and there was news filtering through of I think it was Newcastle or West Ham had lost. Can't remember which team or whether they're playing each other. And we thought we were up. People were dancing on the pitch, but we weren't. But it's on the video, the race for the title video of that. And it was Vinnie Jones who was responsible for spreading the wrong rumour.
Misinformation.
Yes.
I had to watch the game on my phone at the weekend because I was in Belfast at a match and they wouldn't show the match in the bar. So I was like, okay, that's great. I'll watch it on my phone. So I didn't actually know the Plymouth score until after full time because I had my Do Not Disturb on. And then I went in to check the other scores and just fully lost the plot.
what seriously, just like, what do you think when you saw it? You're like, no way.
I just, because I saw that it was 1-0 to Sheffield United at half time whenever I checked. I was like, oh, great. Well, they'll win that. And then at full time, like, one of my mates was like, what's wrong? I was like, I nearly threw the phone. It's like, Jesus.
It was a lot, but in a good way.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Did you give it to Chris Wilder?
No, I feel like that's tempting the fates a little bit too much. I want to because he has provided me with the most entertainment, I think, across the last 7 days.
I wrote a thing in one of the mags earlier this year, basically saying we need to appreciate people like Chris Wilder while they're still here, because the championship isn't full of enough bastards that are like recognisable to you.
Yeah,
because there's quite a thing now of young upcoming coaches and foreign coaches in the championship. It's not the same old names, is it, that it used to be? So you used to get to a game and you go, oh, Billy Davis, I hate this prick.
Yeah.
Whereas now Bristol come and you go, oh, he's probably fine.
Just based on vague low level prejudices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, you like the Plymouth guy, for example, I can't hate him. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. We haven't been back here for long enough to pick up too many grudges. But yeah, there's also not enough managers that are like Chris Wilder who just have no filter whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're entertaining.
He strikes me as he communicates in a way that suggests he's had about somewhere between 3 and 5 pints.
Yeah. One of the Sheffield United fans I was listening to, they it didn't make it into propaganda, but they were saying how when you're winning with Wilder, it feels as good as it could feel. But then when you get weeks like this, you sort of realise the shortcomings of it, because when you're beating Sheffield Wednesday and he's a Sheffield United fan and he's celebrating and it feels like amazing to have all that. Whereas with Farke, we're sometimes a bit like, no.
Yeah.
Fine. He's the same really in either way, and it can be a bit, you kind of want to shake him sometimes.
Yeah, but I think what this has proved recently is we need emotional control even if we don't like it or want it. You need that. You need some sort of steady hand on the tiller.
Yeah. Until we go up, and then I want to see Farke shirtless, charging around the pitch.
Wilder's a little bit like Mourinho in that regard. Whenever you're winning under Mourinho, like Mourinho could probably lead an entire city into a revolt, but whenever you're losing, just shut up.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere he's been. After a while, it's just like just stop talking, stop annoying everyone, please.
Bit like I'm with Jesse Marsh after about a week.
Yeah.
Was like, saw the Villa game and went, oh no.
But he wasn't even good at antagonism, was he?
No, he took no one with him.
Okay, it's not here. We're not here to bash Jesse again. We're here to crown a hero of the week. Who are you going to give it to?
Darko JB.
Darko JB. There's a good call. Yeah, it's an arm's length way of giving it to Wilder, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Which feels emotionally safer.
I'll give it to Cornish Janner.
What for?
For his big rant about Wilder that call him an absolute pig. That amused me.
Very, very entertaining. But now I feel like we need it. Yeah, it's JB. It's a good call. That feels right.
All right.
I think the universe will like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well done, Darko JB. An unexpected Kitano Baradi hero of the week. Well, that wraps up the weekly show now. The next time we do a Square Ball update, be after Easter.
Wow, yeah.
2 games left. Do you want to say anything about that?
I've done some spreadsheets.
Yes! Yes! Well, one of us.
I know what could happen.
What's on your spreadsheet?
It's just game by game, and it's a minimum and maximum points by game, so you can kind of see the way it'll unfold.
Right. Does it show that we're going up?
Maybe.
Yeah, I've got my game by game. I've added to mine.
What's on it now?
It's just the permutations of what we need to get.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's like that, but it's alive.
Depending on what happens with the other lot. And so it rolls forward then. So 3 o'clock, 5:30, 8 o'clock. Too much, isn't it?
See you tomorrow night.
Back for a match ball after Oxford. Enjoy Easter.
Let's hope there are lots of people on it, because that would bode well. Sometimes after a defeat, you can see there's like 100 people on, and you think, yeah, I don't blame you really. Just catch up with this one tomorrow.
Right, here we go.
Just win.
See you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.